You can see the 28 car. Earlier I said he looked like he was in a little bit of trouble. That's all gone now. He's coming to the front.
And look who's with him.
Here comes Ernie Irvin right up behind Jeff Gordon, and right behind him is Earnhardt. This thing's going to get into a real dogfight in just a second.
Great battle off the tunnel turn here from the lead on back. This is 4th through 8th. You joined us late. We had a rain delay of almost 2 hours. They ran 15 laps under a green-yellow caution situation. We've been green ever since.
You know, sometimes this track becomes what I call a mirror faking track. What happens, you come up off the corner, and you know the guy in front of you looks in his mirror and checks to see if you're there. Well, what happens if you just pull out left, he's still looking in the mirror and he goes, where's he at? You know, you're thinking that he's on the inside, so you're giving him respect. You enter the corner a little bit high, and really he didn't even have his nose underneath of it. We do that a lot at Martinsville.
You're awfully young to be that sneaky, I'm going to tell you.
I've learned that through a lot of racing at Martinsville. Sometimes you're a little bit faster in the front, you know, than a guy. So you come up off the corner, pull your car left. Everybody in racing pretty well knows it, but sometimes you can't take the chance. Even with your spotter, it gets so close you can't take the chance to you know, come down this early in the race, especially.
Dale Earnhardt at the tail end of that second pack with Kyle Petty, Jeff Gordon, and Ernie Irvin. 8th place.
I was just fixing to say Rusty and Mark Martin have kind of checked out. They're about 10 car lengths ahead of Ricky Rudd and Brett Bodine right now. And Kyle Petty seems to be very content to just kind of sit there and wait. He has a very good race setup. I'm sure he's got a lot of notes from last year when he won here. And I wonder if he packed his camera again this year to take pictures in Winter Circle like he did last year. See Brett Bodine moving up under Ricky Rudd there. This car is a rocket ship down the straightaway.
It's one of the quickest cars on the racetrack right now. And for an update on Kyle Petty, here's Randy.
Well, Jim Long has recently taken over all of the guidance on this team. Robin Pemberton no longer here. You guys got a nice setup, a nice looking car. What's Kyle saying about it?
We're a little tight right now, but I think we're going to work on it next stop, and it's going to be okay.
That's Jim Long. He's short with the words right now, but he's intent on making this team a winner.
And Randy, as he said that, Kyle moved up past Ricky Rudd into 5th place.
This is a real interesting shot. You see them all coming down in single file, and then you can watch who's going to pull out and try to get it done, and it's Jeff Gordon right now.
Yeah, you see Jeff moving over to the left here. I just wonder if he might be running a little bit of water temperature, because he didn't really make a move on Earnhardt or anything like that. He just moved over to the left-hand side. If he was really trying to catch Earnhardt, he would have got dead behind him and tried to draft up on him.
Of course, at Dover last week, Jeff Gordon ran at 260-degree water temperature for the last 200 miles. That engine lived. They were running synthetic oil in that engine, and they credit that Valvoline synthetic for saving it when the water temperature went off the scale.
And not only that, Mike, you're also right, but he had when he pulled into the garage area, Jeff Gordon last week at Dover, he had a left front tire literally flat. So he had a great weekend.
He's had a great year.
Look at Rusty. He's starting to build a lead on Mark Martin, and that is really, really something to be. As I say that, Ernie Irvin going right by Ricky Rudd down the front straightaway here.
Yeah, Ricky's drifting back just a little now. He catches a toe off Ernie, so Earnhardt can't sneak in there.
Now that's the car that's not running hot right there. You see him pull right back up in the draft, and that's where the cars run the fastest, nose to tail. But they will run hot right up under each other, because you get all the heat off of the car in front of you, off the motor and all.
This is very interesting how Ernie's car looked a little bit loose early, and now it's all settled down. It looks like he's got a really good race car today, because as the tires are getting hotter, the 10 car of Ricky Rudd seems to be falling back, you know, about the 7th or 8th. He's still running very competitive, but the 28 car is getting better with the tires getting more wear.
You know, I think who's the fastest car on the track right now is Brett Bodine. He's moved away from Kyle Petty, now in 3rd place behind Wallace and Mark Martin. Now we're watching Ricky Rudd and Dale Earnhardt.
Okay, right. Ricky's car looks to me like it might have picked up some push on the flat corners. I think he gets through 1 and 2 about as well as anybody, but in the flat corners up on the far end of the racetrack, it seems to be pushing right out of the corner, and that really kills the straightaway speed.
Yep. 35 laps are complete. Rusty Wallace leading Mark Martin, Brett Bodine, Kyle Petty. 5th is Ernie Irvin, Ricky Rudd, and Dale Earnhardt. At the tail end of that lead pack sits in 7th. Glenn asked Dale the other day if he feels there's room for improvement yet. with his team.
Yes, we're running second in the points and way behind as far as the numbers, and we definitely want to improve on that, and I think you're going to have to win several races to do it. I think to win that championship, I'm going to have to win 6 more races this year to come back and not have any bad luck and have good top 5 finishes. Other than that, I don't think top 10 finishes are going to do it.
37 laps, 92.5 miles complete here at Pocono. Chuck Bound is slowing out on the racetrack, the Precision Restaurant Ford. Winnebago and Relife on Bobby Allison's car this week, and they report a flat right front tire on Bound's car. You're watching Ted Musgrave and Terry Labonte battling on the racetrack. That's for 16th position. And up at the front still Rusty Wallace, but now Brett Bodine, the second place car.
I heard Ted Musgrave say earlier today that he was wearing a protector for his ribs. He re-injured his ribs just a little bit at Dover last week, and this racetrack you get a lot of side lean in the corners here because of the flat corners. I imagine this working on his ribs pretty hard right now.
A look at your leader, Rusty Wallace, at 38 laps. I'll show you what he has over Brett Bodine as Rusty comes toward the tunnel turn here. His lead is just about 2.5 seconds. Chuck Bound has that tire replaced and heads back out on the speedway. Here's Wallace, and here's the new second place car, Brett Bodine, ahead of Mark Martin. Brett in the 26th, the Quaker State Ford, nearly won this race last July. He was leading with 24 laps to go. A caution flag wiped out his lead, and he finished in 5th position. Mark Martin is 3rd presently. Ernie Irvin, Kyle Petty, Dale Earnhardt, Ricky Rudd, Jeff Gordon, Sterling Marlin, and Kenny Schrader are the top 10. There's Schrader top of your screen with Darrell and Michael Waltrip.
Brett Bodine is pulling down. You can see the interval between the two cars is lessening every lap. Brett's got that thing in the wind. I tell you, that off that corner, he pulls Mark Martin 2 or 3 car lengths down that back chute.
You know, the keys to turn 1 and 2, as you've seen on the monitor there, is when you can exit up off of turn 2, you can use every bit of your power. Plus, if you're not driving what we call a push out of there, if your wheels are straight, you get a lot more. The power will really get to the ground and push the car straighter. If your wheels are turned, it's like shoveling snow. Even though you're wide open, you're shoveling, your front wheels are turned, and you can't go as fast as you need to.
The only thing worse than that's when you're turning right to get off that corner.
Yeah.
And I was just noticing Mark Martin's car is extremely loose off the second corner.
There's Martin, the white Valvoline Ford of Jack Roush in 3rd. Irvin, Kyle Petty. Now, is the draft doing Kyle any good right there? Is he close enough to catch any draft off of Ernie?
If you can see a car, it's helping some. Anytime you stir up the air, it's like anything else. You see people, even when they're running a foot race, they get in behind each other. There's draft no matter how fast or how slow.
Okay.
You know,
now clearly he's close enough to catch the draft.
Yeah, he's definitely close enough to catch a draft here. Sometimes there are cars that have the characteristics, and Buddy well knows it, don't like that. They'll get up there, but they can't do nothing else. And that has a lot to do with the air cleaner, the air getting into what we call the air box.
Let's take you back a little further in the field. Here's Kyle Petty in 5th. Let's go back to about 12th place. Michael Waltrip, Bill Elliott, and Dale Jarrett.
Dale Jarrett's trying to get some kind of inside groove on Bill Elliott there. Bill's running quite well. When we say we're going back to 12th or 13th here, that means you're flying. This is a hard racetrack to run that well on.
Look at Elliott. Did he swing the tail around? It looked like the boom on a ship with the sail attached to it coming around.
It sure did, and that's a lot of experience. As you see Dale Jarrett get the move on, that was probably just that little bit of sideways that caused Elliott not to have his momentum going down the straightaway.
Well, Kenny, anytime you see anybody get sideways like that, the first thing you say, I want out of here. I don't want to follow that car anymore.
That's right, and he's loose as it is, and now Dale Jarrett has got past Bill Elliott. But when somebody comes up behind you, that just makes you looser. When you get into this long of a race, you don't want no part of it. He's running inside the top 15. He's got the leaders in sight. So he'll get himself a yellow and get that car tightened up.